Hey everybody, this is my fourth video blog. Yes, I'm shirtless again. I'm apologizing for that, but it's fucking hot right now. I was outside, earmuffs. My son's over there drawing on a piece of paper, and I swore. I said a bad word. Bad daddy. Anyways, I was outside doing yard work on my day off, and decided to do a video blog. Just for the hell of it. I have band practice in a couple hours, so this will pass the time until the band shows up and we start rocking. I guess today I just wanted to talk a little bit about how I got out here to California. I'm a Midwest boy. I'm from Iowa. I was born in 1970, which means I'm old. I'm really old. You see the gray in the beard? At any rate, my dad left my mom and my brother and sister and I when I was very young, maybe 2 years. I'm not sure. My mom will have to get back to me on that. Anyways, I never had a dad there. He was never around. My mom was my mom and my dad, and she did a bang-up job. Supported us whichever way she could, you know. She had to work at one point. I remember my mother working 3 jobs. We were on food stamps. We were on welfare because my father was not giving us child support at all. Was not helping my mom at all. It was as if he didn't have 3 kids. I'm not emotionally scarred from that at all. Well, I'm just kidding. Anyways, I really respect my mom. She did what she had to do. My son's laughing at me. She did what she had to do to provide for her 3 kids, and including welfare. She wasn't one of those people who abused the system. She used the system as little as she had to help her. My work ethic comes from my mother because she did 3 jobs at one point. You know. I have so much respect for that woman, and I will until my dying day. And the same thing I'm trying to teach my son is that same work ethic that my mom taught me from way back in the day. Anyways, can't remember what grade it was, 4th or 5th grade. I started playing drums at my elementary school. They were giving them music lessons and stuff, and I decided, hey, it will be fun to beat the crap out of stuff. So, got a pair of drumsticks and started learning how to do drums, banging on the bass drum, you know, doing rudiments on the snare and that kind of thing. And my mom put up with a lot of noise. I remember we moved when I was in 4th grade, I believe. Yes, we moved when I was in 4th grade from Sioux City, Iowa to Spencer, Iowa. You don't care, just giving you the history. When I got to the elementary school, to my new school in Spencer, Iowa, they told me that I had to have 2 years of piano if I wanted to play in the band, if I wanted to be a drummer in their band. And I basically said, listen, I don't have any piano. We couldn't afford it. I don't know piano, but I have the desire to be the best drummer you've ever had. And they gave me a little set of bells, and they said, hey, if you can learn all 12 of your major scales in a couple of weeks, come back here, audition for us, learning all of these scales, we'll let you play, you know, in the band. Took those bells home, probably annoyed the crap out of my brother and sister and my mom, but I learned those scales in a couple of weeks. Came in, rocked those scales, and not only did they let me be in the band, play drums in the band in 4th grade, but I went pretty much right up to the top of the drummers, the list of the best drummers at that school. There was basically a competition from 4th grade until like freshman in high school. Hi, sweetie. until I was a freshman in high school, where this girl, Lisa Palm, and I went back and forth as to who was the best. I think I cared a little bit more than her. She was just that good, you know, but it wasn't really that big of a deal to her. She was a driving force in making me a better drummer, just because I wanted to be the best, you know. So anyways, I learned my scales, went through elementary school, learning my rudiments, learning different percussion instruments, trying to get better, more accurate, more even, you know. Got to high school, junior high. My instructor at junior high gave me a very small drum kit. It was basically a snare, a bass drum, a hi-hat, and a ride cymbal. That was it. And he gave me one lesson on the drums. They were like, we need a trap set drummer. Are you interested? And I'm like, oh, hell yeah, I'm interested. So anyways, he gave me one lesson, gave me some books to study, and I had one lesson on the drum set, went home with this little itty bitty kit, and, oh wait, no, there was one little tom too. So it was a snare, rack mount tom, and my bass drum. That's it. No other toms, no floor tom, no other rack toms. That's it. And one cymbal and a hi-hat. Went home, put that in the back porch of my family's house, and would put music, cassettes. Do you people remember cassette tapes? That's how old I am. I would take cassette tapes, put them in my Sony Walkman, put the headphones on, crank the music, listen to what they were playing, and try to play along. That's how I learned how to drum. You know, I've had people ask me for drum lessons through the years, and I'm like, dude, do what I did. I had one lesson. You know, I learned percussion through high school and junior high and middle school and all that, but as far as trap set, as far as being a rock drummer, I had one lesson. Everything else was me putting music in headphones and doing my best to do what they were doing. That's how I learned. That was the best way for me, you know. So, anyways, that's how I learned how to play drums. Went to college. I got a music scholarship for my drumming. Helped pay a good portion of my college. I only went to school, Northwestern College in Orange City, Iowa. I dropped out my senior year with one semester to go. And the reason was, I was a music ed major, but I just decided I didn't want to teach. And I had long hair at the time, had earrings, you know, I looked like a rock and roller. I looked like a major partier. In fact, I let a lot of people down because they'd be like, dude, did you go to that party last weekend? And I'm like, nah, partying's really not my thing, you know. Oh man, we had we had built this opinion of you and this like aura of who you were based on how you look. You're really letting us down, man. I'm like, sorry, you know, I am who I am. Partying doesn't interest me. Rocking and rolling and mooning the crowd, that interests me. So I had gone to college, dropped out my senior year, but so I dropped out my senior year, went to live with my mom, trying to find a job. Didn't try that hard to find a job, and got depressed and was just like, what am I doing with my life? I want to drum. I want to be in a band. What the hell? So I ended up going back to the college and working for them. Not being a student, didn't get my degree, but I worked for them and was able to stay on campus. Had my drum set at the music building, which was a double bass, 10-piece, drums all over the place, cymbals everywhere, 10-piece Leadwood rocker series. And every night I'd go in, you know, everyone else was gone, I'd go in and I'd practice my drums by myself for 2-3 hours straight every single night, just to get better. Working for the school, working for the college, drumming my ass off, trying to get better, hoping and longing to be in some kind of situation, musical situation. In Iowa, unless you're Slipknot, there's no musical situations. You can't form a band with a bunch of cows or some corn stalks. It doesn't work. So, anyways, after a couple of years of working on campus and practicing my ass off and becoming relatively a good drummer, I put an ad in a Christian music magazine, listed my influences, and said I'm willing to relocate wherever. I've got nothing going on. I'm young enough that I'm willing to set everything aside and go to play music. Any interested parties? And for a couple of weeks, man, the only person that I had respond to me was some dickhead from Florida who was upset that I put Ozzy Osbourne, Motley Crue as influences in this ad in a Christian magazine. And so he would write me back and forth through snail mail, when people actually wrote letters out to communicate to people. He would write letters back and forth to me telling me I was going to hell because I had influences that weren't Christian music. And we had some good conversations. Needless to say, I left him pretty much in the back of my thoughts. At a certain point when he was condemning me to hell for my musical tastes, I was just like, all right, dude, that's it. I'm done. Obviously, you're not going to convince me, and I'm not going to convince you, so we're done talking. He wrote a couple other letters after that. I didn't respond. Finally, after, I think, 4 months or so, this guy in South Lake Tahoe, California, wrote me and said, hey, I need a drummer. I'm interested. What do you think? Here, and sent me a cassette tape with 4 of his songs. And I listened to them, and they weren't exactly my favorite style of music, but it was enough for me to go, all right, no one else has responded. California is the place to be. I had no idea. I'd never been out of Iowa except for like Minnesota, Nebraska, the Midwest. So as far as California, I had no idea where South Lake Tahoe was in relation to the Bay Area, Los Angeles, all of the music hubs, San Diego, Bakersfield. I had no idea where South Lake Tahoe was in comparison. So I said, sure, I'll come out. Why don't I come out and visit, see what you got going on, and see if I like it. And then if I do, after talking with you and seeing the area, maybe I'll move out. So I ended up driving out there with a couple friends from college and spent 4 or 5 days there looking at the area, checking the place out, talking to Russ, the guy who answered my ad, and seeing if I liked the place. Man, I prayed about it a lot because to me that was a really big decision. You're leaving everything you know back in Iowa, leaving your family, your friends, everything you've ever known in your entire life, moving 1,600 miles away to start a band with one guy, no bass player, no singer, it was just a guitar player, with music that you weren't really that into. And it's a big risk. But I was just like, you know what, screw it. I've got to do something. I have to try. I have to get out there. And I have to see what happens. So I went back to Iowa, packed up my stuff, made a move date, said, all right, by this time I need to have a certain amount of money saved up, threw all my stuff into a U-Haul, drove myself 1,500 miles away, and moved from Orange City, Iowa to South Lake Tahoe, California to join this band, which wasn't even a band. It was a guitar player and me. When I first got to Tahoe, I was able to find a place to stay Actually, I found a job right away. Like the day after I moved here, I found a job working as a clerk at a 7-Eleven. It's a good old American job. And then the day after that, I found a place to live. This rinky-dink apartment building. It was like basically one room, like a small bedroom with a communal shower. So the entire floor of this apartment building had one shower that everyone had to use, and one kitchen, one refrigerator that every single apartment on that floor had to use. And there were probably at least 10 apartments. So, but it was cheap, and I could afford it. So, stayed there for about 2 years. Cool. Stayed there for about 2 years, eating top ramen 2 times a day, working as much as I could, practicing music with my friend, with this guy Russ that I had moved out there to start making music. We wrote some songs, we recorded a demo. Someday I'll put those songs online because they are funny, awesome, so bad they're good, so bad they're good. But anyways, drummed my ass off. I practiced. We wrote songs. We played. I worked. Stop. I worked. I prayed a lot. I read my Bible a lot. I worked at my church a lot. Got plugged into the church. Did a whole bunch of stuff there. I walked everywhere in that town. Didn't have a car. So everywhere I had to go for the first 2 or 3 years when I was in South Lake Tahoe, I had to walk. My mailbox was at the other end of town, so I literally had to walk 4 miles a day, 2 there and 2 miles back, just to get my mail. And I did that every day. I put headphones on, I'd rock out to music as I was walking. People driving by thinking I'm some Fruit Loop, but I didn't give a shit. What do I care? These people don't know me, I don't know them. Whatever. That's one of the reasons why I am the way I am. If people can't accept me for who I am, what do I care? If they're not in my life, you know, it's nothing but a passing by moment. And if they're in my life, that means they want to be there. If someone's in my life, that means that they either love me for who I am or they're using me. If they're using me, they're not in my life that long. I don't allow that. But anyway, I digress. So anyways, that was in December of 1993 when I moved from Iowa out to California, and lived in South Lake Tahoe for a good 14 years. Only did this band thing with this guy, Russ. The name of the band was called Bottom Line. Did that band for about 3 years, I believe, if I remember correctly. So long ago, I don't know. I'm getting old, senile. But anyways, I did that band for about three years. We could never find another singer. We could never find a bass player. Never really did anything. Finally, I was just like, you know what? I got to find a better situation. I moved out here for music. We're not doing anything. 3 years. We had a demo with like 4 songs. That's it. So I was so involved in my church at the time, you know, playing on the worship team and that kind of thing, that it didn't bother me that I wasn't out rocking and doing stuff. So I ended up playing with some guys at my church, just putting together a youth group oriented rock band. We do some cover songs and some originals as well. And through that, we ended up playing a opening for a band called the Orange County Supertones, which was a ska band back in the day, back in the 90s and early 2000s. They were becoming a pretty big deal, and they came to the high school in South Lake Tahoe, and my friends and I from our church, you know, we practiced a set of some, like I said, some cover tunes, some Christian cover tunes, and some of our own originals that we had written. And we ended up going and playing this show, and there were a couple of guys there Nick Green and Jim Booth, who they had started a band called Driven, and it was a Christian metal band, but they didn't have a drummer. It was just the two guys, guitar and bass, and they used a drum machine. That's how they played shows, is they turned this drum machine on and play their songs. Which, alright, I can respect that. Anyways, they came and saw this show. And it wasn't even my drumming that impressed them so much, it was my drum kit that impressed them. This 10-piece, double bass, huge drums all the way around. They were just like, we gotta get that guy in our band. If he's got a set like that, this guy's gotta be able to rock pretty hard. You know, they heard me doing cover songs like Jesus Freak by DC Talk and Never Gonna Be As Big As Jesus by Audio Adrenaline. These are the songs they heard me play, not metal songs. Not songs that a drummer needs a 10-piece double bass drum set for. But they saw the kit and said, this guy can play drums. They saw all the showy things I do. They saw my stage presence and all that and said, all right, let's see if we can work with this guy. And I ended up getting a demo from them, listening to the drums, and playing the drum parts, learning the drum parts from this cassette, which was drum machines that they had programmed. And learned those parts, ended up practicing with them, and spent, you know, a good amount of time with them as Driven. I don't even know, I think we played like maybe 1 or 2 shows, and then I quit the band because I was really self-righteous at that time in my life. Those guys swore a lot. They made jokes about things that I felt as Christians we shouldn't be joking around about. And so because of that, I decided, you know what, I can't be a part of this. I can't be in this band. Took myself out of the situation. A couple of years later, there's a Christian metal band from Australia called Mortification. They came stateside to do a tour, and these guys, Nick and Jim, that I had previously been drumming with, they were opening up for Mortification, just the two guys in a drum machine. And I went to the show. I'm a fan of Mortification, so I went to the show and saw them on stage rocking out. Really dug the songs. Really loved the songs that they had written since I was in the band before. And decided, you know what, I can do this, man. These are songs that I can play. A lot of double bass, a couple of different time signatures. They only played in 4/4 and 6, like 4 and 6. Those are the only 2 time signatures they played in. Once I got in the band, though, we changed that around. Started playing in 5, started playing in 7, started playing in 11. I think we had a riff that was in 11. And yes, I will take credit for that. I will very much take credit for the fact that those guys started writing songs in different time signatures other than 4 and 6. Because those were my influences. We're doing a lot of different time. Anyways, they changed the name from Driven to Uplifted. I rejoined the band. We started practicing 2 or 3 times a week, and just started playing shows and getting a good following around the area. South Tahoe, California, Carson City, Nevada, Reno, Nevada. It's all within an hour of each other. And started playing a lot of shows, some Christian shows, some non-Christian shows, and all of that. So anyways, I'm going to stop it right here. Excuse me. That's just a little bit of the history of how I got from Iowa out to California. Right now, my wife and I and my son, we live in Carson City, Nevada. I still go up to work in Tahoe every day, South Tahoe. I deliver the mail up there, if you haven't seen my first video blog. But anyways, we live in Carson City now, and that's how I came to be out here, is my desire to play music, my desire to do something with my life, with the creative gifts and talents that I believe God had given me. and all that. Anyways, I hope you guys are having a great day. I hope that you enjoyed this little history of how I started playing drums and how I moved out here and stuff. And as always, leave comments, criticisms, all of that nonsense in the comments section below. Let me know what you think of this video blog. Good, bad, ugly, fugly, all of it. With that, love, respect, and boobs. Peace.